flat surface, which she can pull 3,000 to 5,000 pounds with. If anything were to happen to the log, she's not connected to it, so she can just let go of that mouth rope and let the log go wherever it needed to go and get it at a later time. Liz is pretty polite. She's going to hand off this rope to me. If you were to go to one of these logging camps in Southeast Asia, the elephants you may see there are going to look a little bit different than Liz. There they use primarily the male elephants. Like I said, Liz is one of our female elephants. The male is going to be several thousand pounds more, and also a few feet taller. Liz is going to use that big nose to push that log all the way to the pile. The males in the Asian species also have the big long ivory tusks that elephants are famous for. The female Asian elephants, they don't get that big long ivory. Those males in the logging camps can use that ivory like a forklift to lift those logs where they need to go. But Liz thinks she's just as good as those big old males, and she can get that log to the top of the pile in her own little way. She just had to figure out how to do it. So Liz is going to demonstrate how she gets that log to the top of the pile. She's going to come over and use that big head of hers, get it all the way to the ground, and use just the pressure of her body, that 10,000 pound body and head, to get that log all the way to the top of the pile. It just takes her a few pushes and a few flicks of the wrist, but she can get that log all the way to the top of the pile. She had to figure out how to do that all by herself. She had a little bit of help for her trainers. Now let's hear it for Liz for getting that log to the top of the pile. There you go. That's what Liz likes to hear. That's also what Chad likes to hear. Now as Liz comes around and faces you, you guys can get a little better look at her pretty face. You may also notice at the end of her nose she has one little finger-like appendage on the end. That's one of the characteristics of the Asian elephant. You may have noticed that Valerie in the show before this had two. That's one of the characteristics of an Asian elephant, or African elephant, excuse me. Now she's going to use that nose to pull back that big heavy log, but she can also do very dexterous things with that nose. She could pick up a single blade of grass out of a field. She could pick up a single leaf out of a tree. Some have even been known just to pull a single dime off of the concrete. That's how dexterous they are with that. But it's also very powerful. Researchers have estimated that there's over 100,000 muscles and tendons in that nose alone. There's no bone, there's no cartilage, it's pure strength. And Liz is going to give you a big example of that. She's going to get that big head all the way to the ground again, and she can push that log all the way to the log pile. Just a simple flick of the nose. Let's hear it for Liz one more time. Now, the crowning piece to Liz's log pile is that tiny little log over there to the right. Now, that log's a little bit too small for Liz to be kicking around or flicking with her nose, so she has to find a different way to do it. She's once again going to get that big head all the way to the ground and pick that up just with her lip pressure. This is a good example of why elephants have that big long nose. If they had to pick up all their food and water off the ground like that, it wouldn't really be worth the energy for getting that big head all the way to the ground. So Liz is using just that lip pressure to move that log around. She's not using any of the 4 teeth they do have. Elephants do have 4 big teeth in the back of their mouth, but Liz just needs her lip pressure to get that little log all the way to the top of the pile. As she comes over here, she just has to flick it with her lip, and she can put the crowning piece on her log pile. Let's hear it for Liz and her log pile one more time. Now, we have a pretty big crowd today, and you guys have been okay with the applause, but if Liz feels like she needs a little bit more applause from you guys, she heads on over to her little trolley bell, and it looks like she's moving on over there right now. So when she rings that trolley bell, I think you guys know what to do. Oh. Let's see if Liz wants a little more applause from you guys. There it is. Now, while we have your attention, we would like to remind you that Asian elephants are an endangered species. There's less than 50,000 left of them in the wild today. We hope that you've come here and gained an appreciation for them, and maybe you want to help us conserve them. There's a few ways you can do that. You can help us conserve them by going to elephantconservation.org on the internet. We also have some pamphlets about them if you'd like one after the show. Now, for Liz doing that big log pile, she gets a little reward. It's this big bunch of bananas. Do you guys think she's going to maybe eat them one by one? Maybe peel them? No? Well, let's find out. Now you see that big bunch of bananas, and now you don't. Now, about that game of tug-of-war. Who wanted to play tug-of-war with Liz again? A couple of you. I think we're going to need a few more people to play tug-of-war against Liz. If you guys would like to play tug-of-war, come on down, slowly walk and line up along this fence line. Our host down there will help you out, and Josh will have a few rules for you.
Oh, they're going to